Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TED Excellence, the show in which we drive for success, but eventually run afoul of failure, or something like that. And I come to you live. What? What's that?
Sounds about right.
Dogcat Fox, is that you? What? Who's that? I have an intruder in the base. Everybody, an intruder in the base. Uh-oh.
Where? Look, where is it?
That's a wild Sinatra has appeared. Or
hello.
He was part of the plan the whole time. But we come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and joining me tonight, the famous, world famous Sinatra Says, longtime friend of myself and the channel. How you doing, Sinatra?
Oh, not too bad. How are you, sir? And I want to hear every tawdry detail.
I don't think you do, but I appreciate the sentiment either way, unlike certain employers I've had in the past. But that's a whole story I was telling before the show. Anyway, yes, everyone, Sinatra Says. If you're not familiar with Sinatra Says, well, why not? What's wrong with you? Do you have a condition? Do you need some help? There's some links in the description to all of Sinatra's particulars, at least those that I can reveal publicly, particularly his YouTube channels, his Twitch channel, his Twitter, his Streamlabs is in there as well. So take a look at that if you would during the course of the show. If you have anything you'd like to say to Sinatra directly that you wouldn't say to his face, because his face isn't here.
How is my audio coming across? It looks like it's low on the output.
You sound fine to me. I don't know. Everybody in the chat, you sound okay? I can always boost him mechanically over here if needs be.
I forgot I had the other microphone on. So you're like, I'm getting background noise, and it's one that points right out of the hallway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might have been doing it, because every time you were quiet there for a second before we started, I was hearing like the laundry machine going off or something.
That's better?
Yeah, you should be fine. You're fine. I think you're fine. Okay. Well, before, I mean.
It was the kids taking their, one of the kids taking their bath.
Okay. I think you're all right. Let's see. Chat, how we doing? Sounds pretty good, says Derek LaRue. He's a bit quiet, says 9 feet. Really? He sounded fine to me, but I can always boost him here a little bit, I think, too.
Well, I switched my inputs to my voice meter, so it might be better now.
Okay. But anyway, before we get into tonight's subject matter, which I have kept explicitly secret from my co-host tonight for reasons I'll explain momentarily, who's joining us on this beautiful Thursday evening? Kiro Soldier. Good evening. Advocatus Diaboli. Good evening. Gunfox61. Good evening. Keeverdam. Good evening to you. And thank you, Keeverdam, as always, for helpfully providing the links to the GoFundMes for our friends Moonshock, Natalie, Angela Arriaga, Rhonda, and James Colley. If you guys could take a look at those when you have the opportunity. And if you can donate, our friends do need some help. If you can't donate, that's fine. But if you can, share those out on social media. That would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. Noah Sencio. Good evening. Derek LaRue. Good evening. And also down here, Derek LaRue, thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much for your continued support and generosity. Really do appreciate it. And hope you enjoy the show. Advocatus Diabli, if I didn't already say hello, hello. Good evening to you. Shell D, good evening. Mike R, good evening. Non-Vitae Rex, good evening. Spoonie the Rebel, good evening. Brittany Holland, good evening. Who else is here? Urcule Di Stefano, good evening. Tier Alexander, the Gentleman Lich. Good evening.
Black Tier, what up?
I know, right? Black Tier, is that what you call him?
That's what he told me to call him.
Oh, okay.
I have a tier, and then he came and he's like, just call me Black Tier. Like
Black Tier?
Oh, because yes.
Wait, you got a different name for a different channel tier? I don't know if I feel cheated on or something. Pissed Off Shih Tzu, good evening. Found has been, good evening. C. Thomas, good evening. Rotten Corpse, good evening. Ada BC, good morning. Good evening. A name I learned by watching the TV show Oz back in the olden days. And Alan Thyler, thank you so much for the lovely, huggy Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox.
Wowie, wow, wow.
That's a Roan Harushan Dogcat Fox. I might have a Sinatra Dogcat Fox somewhere up my sleeve. Depending if we get another Dogcat Fox later. But yes, and for anybody else that I either missed or is lurking or in the future, good evening. Oh, Big Dave 1066. Good evening. All right. So yesterday, when I just out of the blue messaged Sinatra and said, hey, would you be free to do a TEDx tomorrow night. He said, sure. And I said, hey, do you want a menu of possible subjects to choose from, or would you like to be surprised? And he says, I like surprises. And I knew then, well, I can't now say what the title is either in the thumbnail or the advertising or anything, because I want it to be a surprise when I get to him. So, Sinatra, have I got a surprise for you? I have a question that needs to be asked.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready for this? Is a very deep, very meaningful question for the ages.
I'm ready.
All right. So here is the title of our presentation tonight and the question that needs to be answered. Sinatra, could cars be an alternative to homeless shelters?
No. Their lack of bathrooms and showers and beds.
Yeah. So when I saw this title, the first thing in my mind, okay, two things came to mind. First off, I have heard no end of stories from people either in the media or in real life where they've said, for a time, I had to live out of my car. You know, it's usually like desperate times call for desperate measures kind of thing. So I've heard that people have had to do that, obviously. But then I've
had a crash a night or two in my vehicle, but that usually came from poor decisions the night before.
Right, sure. Yeah, you know, a temporary fix to a, you know, momentary problem, hopefully. But I have heard of like entire families having to live out of a car for months or something, some crazy, you know, horror stories. And I thought, wait, homeless shelters. Homeless shelters are facilities that are, in general terms, provided by either government agencies or religious organizations or nonprofits that are, you know, facilities with roofs and plumbing and, you know, bunks and beds and all types of other, you know, general basic survival comforts for people that don't have anywhere else to go. And so when I think of cars replacing homeless shelters, I imagine the government buying up a whole bunch of used cars out of a lot, bolting them down to the pavement, and then you've got this like homeless shanty town of techno igloos looking like some kind of post-apocalyptic, you know, landscape. That's what I think of.
Yeah, it's going to be like a Woodstock, but with cars.
Yeah. Or, I mean,
porta potty set up.
Yeah, that's the other part. The plumbing part is the biggest. I mean, aside from the fact that you're talking about trying to cram people inside of things that weren't meant for that kind of living space. Unless, yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember the Cars for Kids thing?
Oh, the jingle on the radio?
Yeah, that's what all the cars
1-800 cars for kids. KA. Yes, I know. Yes.
That's what they were saving up for, the homeless people.
I suppose so. Of course, with these days, with Chicago and New York and San Francisco just being overwhelmed with either homeless population and or illegal immigrants coming in and them having to, in New York, like renovate whole hotels to try to turn them into homeless shelters, maybe this is a viable option if you don't care about humanity or something, I guess. But anyway, yes, that is the question we're going to answer tonight. Now, the TEDx in question is only 8 minutes long. So it's about 4 minutes shorter than your average TEDx. So I do have, if we get through this too quickly, I do have a backup, a secondary one we could look at. We'll see. But I think between Sinatra and myself and whatever ridiculousness we're about to listen to, we should be okay. Now, as well, we also have the bingo card tonight. Tonight's bingo card is bingo card C. C as in Chevrolet. That was the result of the poll question as to which car brand should be the subject of tonight's bingo card, which I just use as an ABC kind of thing. So the links to the bingo cards are in the description. So bingo card C, get your bingo card C ready. And I think that's everything I have to say before we begin. Sinatra. Oh, so yeah, go ahead, Sinatra.
I just want to know, how does this question even come up? Like, who's sitting around? Because I haven't seen anything about this. This is all a surprise to me, but I'm going to assume a white liberal woman came up with this idea.
Well, I'll give you, this may or may not be a hint. I don't know, but the presentation is taking place at an event in San Diego, California.
I want to know, like, were you sitting around in your shades lounge, just looking around going, homeless people should get free cars. I'm going to make this a thing. And then you just go from there. I just have so many questions.
Well, I do too, but I suppose of course the question is, will our presenter provide even if it's a bad one, a reasonably structured argument. So I guess we'll find out. So a couple more hellos here before we begin, just to make sure I don't miss nobody if I can help it. Clicked on the wrong thing, but Advocatus, hello again. Shadowclaw, good evening. Brian Morissette, good evening. Anybody else that I missed along the way? Yes, Smudge, good evening. JB, good evening to you. Ost San, good evening.
Ooh.
And remember, guys, please, if you haven't already, be sure to like the stream, share it out there, let people know we exist, because that helps out. You guys are the best algorithm. With that, let's begin. I'll start off with a few seconds for a sound test. Sinatra, if you can hear it, I assume everybody else can. And then we will proceed. Oh, boom. This talk is possible with generous contribution from Gifts of the Magi Foundation.
The Magi. Is that what Baez has been up to?
Oh.
Oh, nailed it.
Oh my gosh, Sinatra, what did you do? You got that. You are a gift of the Magi. Seeing that ahead of time. TEDx San Diego, poverty, Teresa Smith, quote, I'd rather live in my car. That was not the title on the YouTube page, mind you.
I think her name is now Poverty. Middle name
Poverty, Teresa Smith. like that's her boxing name. See, sounds good, says my car. Oh, you're ridiculous lunatic. Good evening. Jose Chacon, good evening.
Luna.
Jam, good evening. Good evening to you. All right. So yes, Teresa Smith, regale us with I'd rather live in my car. Well, that's a you problem.
She looks like she'd rather live in her car. Wow.
It was the height of the Great Recession.
Was it? It was a very good year.
When Mary came into our office seeking assistance.
Mary.
Why do they always have lisps?
Was Mary carrying a child and followed by a very forlorn man named Joseph? I don't know why.
Did
I
you
asked
send
that
him
question.
to the manger because he didn't have a car?
That's what I'm wondering.
She had recently lost her job and was facing an eviction from her apartment in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we did what we always do. We sent her downtown to the homeless shelters to get on the wait list in hopes that a bed will become available when she needs to be out of her apartment in 2 weeks.
Who's we?
Her cadence is really throwing me off, man.
It's an interesting way of speaking. Just for everyone's edification, just so we don't forget anything, because like I said, this is a relatively short presentation. Let's look at our bingo cards and remind ourselves what we are listening for in the way of bingo card squares. We have diversity, equity, and or inclusion, word salad, mind reading or assumes motives, a list, and remember that has to be some kind of formal list, hopefully something like here's 3 steps to do this or whatever else. Marginalized or marginalization, we might already be there, we'll see. Patriarchy, contradicts own point or argument. Feminism, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. Systemic/institutional, anecdote that probably never happened. White supremacy, childhood or family anecdote. Remember, that has to be an anecdote from the speaker about themselves. Leaves out vital context. Argumentative non sequitur. Sounds fancy, but it's in there somewhere. Sales pitch for product or service. Could be if she mentions a particular organization or something. Privilege, if that comes up, could. Collectivizes own demographic. Self-vilification or wretchedness, and that's something like, oh, white privilege is a thing, and look at me, I'm an example of it, that kind of deal, where you make yourself part of the problem. Economic disparity, which I think we've already gotten to, but we'll wait for a more firm example. Benevolent condescension, plays victim, and again, that is the speaker themselves playing the victim in some fashion. Weightless example, and lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. So let's keep our ears open for those. And remember, this is Bingo Card C. Links are in the description.
Later that afternoon, she came running back to our office in tears, saying, I don't know where you just sent me, but I'm not homeless like that.
Oh, you're too good for... Oh.
What?
I'm not homeless like that.
As opposed to... What, the
Having
other
a
kind?
home? Yeah, having a... You could, what?
I will not put myself and my kids in that situation.
you got to, well, we don't know her circumstances, but somehow you got evicted from
Reasonable
your
to
apartment.
assume.
Yeah. So you have put yourself and your kids in that situation. But if you're talking about the homeless shelter in particular, it's like, okay, maybe it is a dangerous place. I don't know. We don't know. She hasn't named names or anything.
Well, it is
so.
San Diego, so take that for what it's worth. But would you
Mhm.
rather be in a shelter or on the streets? Like you're 6 of one, half a dozen of the other over here.
Well, why be in a shelter or on the streets when you can have a brand new car? No.
What I saw there, it just was not safe.
Uh-huh.
It is not for us.
Okay. Well, you want
Ooh,
the
an aristocrat.
I just lost my job,
uh-huh.
and I'll be on my feet in no time.
Okay.
I'd rather live in my car.
Wait. You've been evicted. If you just lost your job, but you've been evicted, I mean, I guess it depends on the landlord and how much time they're willing to extend to you. But
I don't know, man. This math isn't mathing.
yeah, I'm getting close to circling anecdote that probably never happened. But let's see.
In San Diego County, the
Mhm.
Regional Task Force on Homelessness estimates annually 3,000 people are homeless and living in their vehicle.
Is she on Valium or something?
She's putting me to sleep. 3,000 homeless are living in a vehicle.
Did you know that there's people out there who need homes?
Did you know the Muffin Man?
Of which 70% are experiencing homelessness for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And just like Mary, they often do not fit in to the traditional homeless service systems.
Why?
Okay, man.
Why?
If you're gonna give this speech, could you at least try to enunciate and speak clearly and concisely? You sound worse than Biden.
But at the same time, all right, she needs to explain to us what she's talking about because, okay, homelessness is an undesirable situation and circumstance, I think, for just about everybody, unless
Yeah.
you're somebody who, I mean, I have heard stories of people who have put themselves into that because they want to live on the streets, which is all the whole sorts of other thing. But generally speaking, most people don't want to be there. Okay. So they're not like other homeless people. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Like they're not the right class of homeless people? Because it's a pretty low bar to jump in the sense that you just don't have a home. So what are you talking about? Are you talking about the quality of homeless shelters? If you're talking about improving the quality of homeless shelters, you have to give us some examples of like, okay, well, this is, homeless shelters have this level of reported crimes within them or something. Then you want to find out, okay, how could we solve for those problems? I'm not quite sure how then moving people into cars is going to change things. It seems less secure to me to be like living in a car versus living in a facility. But then what do I know? But before I get there, Keeverdam, thank you so much for the Kung Fu Dog Cat Fox. Oh, Dog Cat Fox.
Wow. Wow.
No, it's a Sinatra
Hey,
Says Dog Cat
that
Fox.
sounds
There you
familiar.
go. I know. What was that? What was that lovely, luxurious voice that I just heard? It was Dog Cat Fox.
Ah.
Because once you send me one of those things, it becomes copyright Dog Cat Fox. Just so you know.
That's okay.
I'm like Ursula now. I own your voice.
Oh, okay. Well, damn. I've been selling it like a dirty whore.
Yeah, at least for the last, 7 some odd years?
Roughly.
Yeah. Thank you, C. Thomas, for discount Eeyore is very convincing.
Okay.
I guess so, Pooh.
So at the height of the recession, I knew I had to do something because I kept hearing, I'd rather live in my car.
Okay, I think that's more of a reflection on the state of homeless shelters in San Diego than people wanting to be in their car.
Right. Yeah, this is starting to sound like we need to have homeless shelter reform. And depending on what she said in such a situation, I I might get on board with that. I don't know. But
I feel
now
like
it's
there's
like,
a huge. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
There's just a huge disconnect from doing this, living this job, living this life, seeing this stuff day to day, and going, oh, these people want to live in their cars, not, oh, our homeless shelters fucking suck.
It's like when I was a kid, if somebody put some, and I know there's people out there going to hate me for saying this, but I hate asparagus. I just don't like it for whatever reason. So somebody puts like somebody puts like baked asparagus in front of me and says, I'd rather eat my shoe. We really need to think about how we can get kids to eat more shoes. Like, no, that's not.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
That's not the logical extension of that situation happening. It's like, gosh, if only we could get kids to eat more shoes, we could save on asparagus. Like, something.
So I got a group of students from San Diego State University
Oh, well, there was your first mistake.
and Cal Western Law School to take a look at what it would take to help these individuals before they slip further into homelessness and experience more trauma.
Further into homelessness. Once you don't have a home, you're there.
What are you, homeless level 2?
I don't know what does that mean?
They researched
Derek on the slabs. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, hey, thank you, Derek. Appreciate it.
what it would take to open and start a program that would provide overnight safety with services and be cost effective.
Revive? What'd she say?
Revive, override,
Open and start a program that would provide.
She's Bidening. This is the first time I've ever seen somebody not Biden.
Good gravy.
Overnight safety with services and be cost effective.
Overnight safety with services and be cost effective. Okay.
Are you just going to buy a parking lot and put a fence up? Like,
that's what I'm thinking. It's like it's sort of like the California version of what New York's doing with the hotels. We're going to buy a used car lot, all cars and just put people in there like little igloos. That's all I can think of.
I can't get over the analogy you made. It's like, would you like to live in Alaska during the winter? Nah, I'd rather die. How do we get more people to die? Like, I don't get it.
Rather than go to Alaska, who can we kill? Thank you, C. Thomas. Again, I've seen level 420 homelessness. It tends to skunk. Maybe 420 is what she was doing before she got on stage.
420 and 13 Valium?
Yeah, man.
From this research, the safe parking program took shape.
From this research.
What?
Okay, so wait. So you got a whole bunch of college kids together from San Diego State, which, like I say, is a brilliant idea. And it's like, how can we figure out how to have secure services for homeless people? And your first idea, let's put them into cars. Is that it?
The safe parking program. If you're homeless, I have to assume you cannot afford a car.
Well, I mean, I again, given the title, I would have to assume the cars are going to be provided by the state by the organization. They're going to buy used cars. Or now, here's the other thing I thought of. Unless maybe she'll take it this far. I have seen plenty of stories out of places like Portland and San Francisco and Seattle of people getting like old rundown RVs and just lining them up along the streets and turning streets into these basically in homelessness or camps effectively.
Well, RVs are very expensive. You can get campers really fucking cheap if you want to put some work into them, but RVs are pricey.
Yeah. Okay, but let's see. Okay, so safe parking.
In April 2010, we opened
2010. Okay, this has been going on a while then.
our first site with 15 spots. Within a couple of days, we had 2 individuals.
15 spots, whatever that means. I'm assuming parking spots.
Yeah,
2 individuals. Okay.
In less than a month, the site was full. There was more people
spots.
Yeah, 15
it's not
spots.
A lot.
No, it's not.
Seeking assistance.
Sorry, I'm going to back up a little bit. I keep cutting her off.
The site was full. There was more people seeking assistance and safety than we can even accommodate.
Well, you're offering free housing of some kind, of course. And you're doing it in what, San Diego? Not surprised. Okay.
I knew in that moment we were on to something.
Well, no, you haven't told
No.
us what you're doing yet.
You weren't onto anything. You had safe overnight shelter in San Diego. Of course, 15 people showed up.
Yeah, free services and people showed up, if you can believe it. You're on to something. Yeah, people like free things when they have nothing. Congratulations.
So, what is safe parking?
I don't know.
Well, I want to start with what safe parking is not.
Okay, it's not a Tyrannosaurus Rex. We could be here all day. Like, what the- Why do you do this? Okay, what is it not?
It is not a solution to homelessness.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. It's not. Okay.
Thank you.
It's yeah.
We're
well,
not building them homes, so it's not a
Okay.
solution.
All right. So it's not a solution to homelessness. All right. Well, at least you're not telling us it's a panacea. All right. I can at least respect that.
It is a program where we can reach individuals where they're most vulnerable at the start
Vulnerable.
of their homeless experience.
Vulnerable. At the start of their homeless experience. Okay, so it's a halfway house for homeless people. Am I getting this right? Let me ease you into homelessness.
Yeah, we are the transitionary period from homeless to super homeless.
Mike R says this is a sales pitch. I will grant you, all things considered, yes, this is a sales pitch for an idea, not necessarily a product or a service, but it is because I'm assuming it's something she wants to have replicated elsewhere. So circling that on the board, also circling free space. Okay.
I wonder if she's going to imply that America should be giving up its farmland for her to park her cars on.
Individuals where they're most vulnerable at the start of their homeless experience. The program goal is to help them move quickly back into housing before they spiral further into homelessness and potentially experience the trauma of losing their vehicle and ending up on the streets.
Well, if you're so homeless, you're super homeless, you're not going to be able to afford the tags on your vehicle.
So all you're offering is a parking lot with a security guard. Because they're vehicles, right? So it's like, I've lost my home, and so rather than live in my car just out on the street somewhere, we're going to give you a parking lot we've rented with a night guard. Is that it? And then you're going to help them get back into housing. Okay, well, how? Because safe parking all by itself, okay, maybe you provide a secure area for people to live in their cars, which is a sad statement of affairs, but let's say that's it. All right, well then on top of that, what are you doing to then assist them in finding permanent housing? Because that'd be the second part of your pitch, right? Or am I missing something?
I think you got it.
All right, Ebony Williams, good evening, and we're using bingo card C, Ebony. Just to let you know. Anybody else that's on here? Oh, yeah, Random American. Good evening to you, too.
So what does safe parking look like in our community?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Well, it's parking lots.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, gosh, we figured out before we even started.
Where people come and stay safely overnight and receive services right on site.
What kind of services and what kind of security do you provide?
That's what I'm curious about. Like, cars don't have toilets.
Nope.
They don't have kitchens. They don't have showers. Unless you're wheeling around a portable black tank for people to dump in. I don't know what you're doing.
These services can include case management,
Do they include plumbing?
housing resource assistance, possibly in the form of rental and deposit assistance.
Deposit assistance.
What is deposit assistance? That sounds like free money.
Money
Yeah.
now.
Money now.
Emergency assistance, which is such things as food, basic needs, and enrollment into public benefits that they may qualify for.
So you have someone with a clipboard going from card to card, going, fill this out, fill this out, fill this out, fill this out. We'll turn it in for you. Fill this out.
I assume so. And Luna in the chat brings up a good point. Who's funding this little endeavor?
I think we are.
I have a feeling, or San Diego is.
In addition, we offer financial education.
Okay, yeah.
Don't buy drugs.
Yeah, pay your rent.
Where we're pulling their credit reports to ensure that they're ready to get that apartment when it becomes available.
Uh-huh.
In addition, these sites offer a place for community building.
I don't know. I don't know that I'd want to build a community in. This is supposed to be a temporary fix. Okay, all right. What kind of community are you talking about?
Where participants come together and lean on each other and support each other as they work through this trauma of homelessness. So who utilizes safe parking?
Homeless people.
Apparently.
Oh, sorry. Homeless people with cars. If you don't have a car, you don't qualify, right?
Well, look around.
Okay.
Ice cream.
Hey, Sinatra. What's going on?
It's our community at large.
Safe parking. Oh,
Community at large. Hey, I exercise.
I went to the gym.
That was okay. I confess to everybody that was pretty bad. I used to have a thing for this. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's called comedic bad timing, by the way.
It's young and old.
Mm-hmm.
It's working families who are not earning enough to afford the high cost of housing.
Well, they're not working hard enough, are they? Oh, sorry. That's mean. That's elitist of me.
I think it's okay to be a little elitist when this is the alternative.
Yeah, especially if I'm not that kind of homeless. I love that part. That was my favorite part of this so far. I'm not that kind of homeless. Thank you, Kieverdam, again. Not in my parking lot.
Not in my backyard.
Yeah, not in my backyard. Get off my lawn.
With or without children.
Yeah.
It is single moms and single dads.
Uh-huh. Was there a third option?
And our fastest growing population right now is our older adults and elderly,
Oh, no.
making up 45 to 50% of the people we see each night. Here in San Diego, safe parking has grown tremendously. From our initial 15 spots to over 250 spots across the county.
Spatch. I like my spatch. Okay, I want to hear about success stories. I want to hear about...
Spatch.
She's got the spatch. She's got the spatch. Get her away from everyone else. So I want to hear the percentage of people who have participated in safe parking or whatever the heck it is, who you have successfully transitioned into permanent housing. Okay,
I just want to know why she felt like she had to go full Jesse Ventura when she was talking about how many spots she has.
Spatch.
She's got the spots.
She's got the spots. God, I wish I could do a Jesse Ventura. I can't do many impressions, but there's some that I wish I could do. I wish I could do a Christopher Walken. I wish I could do a Jesse Ventura.
I don't even think Walken you have to make it sound like it. You just have to get the cadence down.
Well, yeah, the Jesse Ventura, you have to have that baritone.
Yeah, you gotta get in there and you gotta get the lisp going. She's got the spots. It's rough.
Jesse
it's hard
Ventura.
to do that.
It's Jesse Ventura.
Who does an amazing Ventura is Anthony Cumia. If you've ever gotten the chance to hear him do it.
God, what's that one guy? Oh, no, I can't remember his name. He does like a perfect Jesse Ventura. He's like an actor, comedian or something. God, I wish I could remember what his name is. There's a guy out there that does. I mean, it's like if you closed your eyes, you couldn't tell. It wasn't Bert Kirshner, was it? No, who was it? Dang it. There's like two. No, there was I saw him being interviewed by Theo Vaughn. And what was that guy's name? He's a big bald guy with a beard. Oh, he does a perfect Ventura. God, I wish I could remember his name. I'm terrible.
I can't think of who you're talking about.
Anyway, so I'll find it and somebody in the chat's probably gonna know before I can remember it. Thank you, Ron Harushin. Will these parking lots have bathrooms and porta-johns? And do they provide showers, or do you just spray yourself down with soap and a garden hose? Well, we've been asking about the plumbing part.
Will Sasso?
Will Sasso, that's who it was. Yeah, Will Sasso.
That dude, he was on SNL, wasn't he? Or was
he was TV? On, I think it was Mad TV. He does, Will Sasso. Look up Will Sasso talking to Theo Vaughn. There's like a video out there of something like 20 minutes of Will Sasso imitating Jesse Ventura. And it had me rolling. It's so good. He is so good. It's amazing.
He did a good Bush too.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Will Sasso. There was one other guy. Oh, no. I was thinking of the guy who does the Randy Savage impersonation. And that guy's like a comedian or something. That's not Will Sasso. Yeah, there's some comedian guy who does a perfect Randy Savage, but yeah, you get that guy and Will Sasso together to do a Ventura Savage conversation together, it'd probably kill you. It'd be great. All right. Anyway, but yeah, no, Roan. Yeah, well, that's one of the things we've been asking. Of all the things she's been talking about in this process, if you get a whole bunch of homeless people and you're having them park their cars in a secure parking lot overnight or for a week or something, yeah, what do you do about just basic, self cleanliness facilities or just a bathroom? Like, is there a bunch of porta potties? Hasn't answered that question.
It's got to be porta potties.
It has to be. There's no other way around it unless they've purchased a parking lot site and have built some kind of like restroom facility on site or something that's a permanent fixture. It's got to be porta potties. And as far as showers are concerned, I doubt it. You probably have to go over to the local Redmond or the YMCA or something to do it.
Luna says, you say Randy Savage, I only hear Tex. But he's got that weird lisp that's kind of down here.
Yeah. Randy Savage. All right.
Okay, we're just doing bad impressions. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
But it's still not enough.
Okay, let's back up a little bit since we
forgot what she was even talking about.
We went off into Jesse Ventura, Randy Savage impersonation land. Okay.
Night.
Yeah. Okay, real quick before we get too far away. Are you hip to Shane Gillis yet?
Only the only Shane Gillis I know is his controversy, and I think I saw him on Rogan a couple of times. So I don't know much about it.
He does the funniest fucking Trump ever.
Really? Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
I think I did. I might have.
I would have to send you a clip to watch later.
I've heard some good Trumps lately. Thank you, Ham and Beans. I've lived in Cali for 10 years and never crapped in the street. I don't feel like a real Californian. Well, you just haven't lived the full California experience. Yeah, you're Jesse Ventura says you're missing out.
The governor says you have to go shit in the street.
You haven't experienced California till you've shit in this. I can't fucking do Jesse Ventura. Still like a total dweeb. Anyway, yeah, you haven't been a real California until you've shit in the street. If I even tried to monetize these shows, that they got monetized.
I don't even get how girls pee in public. How are you comfortably shitting in the street?
Dude, I did a TEDx where these girls came out and they were like, their whole pitch was, it's very sexist how men are able to go to the bathroom camping and women have to like go around places and take down their pants and find it's very unequal. It's very
okay. You know what? That's the one argument I have nothing against is okay. Yeah, that is our male privilege. The world is our urinal.
Yeah, but you know what their solution was? If you can imagine.
Shiwi?
No.
Oh.
No. It was pants with a zipper in the back.
They have those.
Yeah,
the specific uses, but they exist.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware, but their big thing was.
Know.
I know. But the other part that they didn't really, it's like, yeah, see, so this way women don't have to like completely, entirely disrobe to go to the bathroom in the woods. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Is there a zipper in their underwear as well? They never brought up that part. They never really did. So I guess maybe not, or maybe there is none.
It's a disturbing trend. People going without, like, why are you guys not wearing underwear? What do you have against underwear? What is going on?
Or what don't you have against underwear?
They're junk, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Here in San Diego, safe parking has grown tremendously. From our initial 15 spots to over 2.
What is wrong with you now?
I can't not hear Ventura. Here, San Diego, we have 200 spots.
Spots. It's the spots.
I can't not.
Mom, I got the spots again. I need to go to the clinic. I got the spots.
It's all I can hear is Ventura now. This is all ruined for me.
Oh my God. We need to run this through like one of those AI voice things and change it to Ventura. and then watch this again in the future. That'd be great.
Here in San Diego, safe parking has grown tremendously. From our initial 15 spots to over 250 spots across the county. But it's still not enough.
Uh-huh.
Our 2023 point-in-time count and daily count of homelessness indicated close to 600 are sleeping in their vehicle each night.
My God, woman. Just 600 are sleeping in their vehicle each night. Oh, the grammar. Okay, so you've got 250 spots. You need 600 spots in order to at least accommodate the average. Uh-huh. So what are you asking from us?
That's the question. What are we supposed to give up our driveways?
No, that's an
extra spots.
Yeah. Does anybody have any extra parking spots? We might. Walmart, do you have a couple of spots you can spare? Do you have any spare spots?
She wants your spots.
We have worked with many cities and municipalities.
We have worked with many cities and municipalities.
What? Good gravy, this woman.
We have worked with many cities and municipalities.
It's like her throat falters on every third syllable. Municipalities.
No, she's gonna have like Down syndrome or something.
Oh God.
Up and down the coast.
Okay.
To replicate safe parking in their communities and in their cities.
Uh-huh.
And as of this date, over 25 cities and regions have safe parking programs.
Okay, great. So are you just advertising this for other people to pick up? And I'm still wanting to hear, all right, well, what is your success rate of moving people from this situation to a more permanent or, more sheltered situation? Because if you're saying, well, we're trying to set up something that is better than a homeless shelter, more transitional, as someone starts this for the first time or whatever, and they also have a car. All right, and you offer these services. I want to know if taxpayer money or donation money or anything else is going into these things, how effective is this program at actually getting people off the street and into permanent housing? If you don't give me that information, then all I'm thinking is that this is just piling onto the problem in a different way in a car without plumbing.
Does pronunciation count towards salad? Because holy fuck, she's making a good chop right now.
It's arguable. We'll wait until the end. We'll see if we don't have something more substantive, Irate Bear, to lean on.
That's caught on for me too. I've listened to you say that for like 5 years.
I know.
Now whenever I go substantive, I have to go Irate Bear.
Whenever the rare times that I hear it on like a documentary or something, in my mind, I always follow up with Irate Bear.
You have to.
He never leaves me now. He's always there. Alex is always there.
I do the same thing whenever I hear someone say especially.
Oh,
in my head,
yeah.
I go, especially. Or I say it, I go especially.
How about irregardless?
Ugh. That one's not as bad to me.
I'm going to circle a list because she did go down the number of services they offer. I'm going to circle that one. And yeah, I'm sure there's others here, but we'll keep going. Let's see what we get else here. Wait, what was the applause line? Sorry?
5 cities and regions have safe parking programs.
Okay.
So I'd like to leave you with the story of a family that I've recently worked with.
Okay.
Calling
Tell
it
me
right
the
now.
story. Is it Mary? I guess let's find out.
Mike and his wife.
Mike and his wife. Does wife have a name, or is it just wife? Can you name somebody wife?
I mean, I don't think you couldn't.
Or maybe her name is his wife. Mike and his wife. I don't know. I'm reaching now.
Mike was on the autistic spectrum,
Okay.
and his wife did not have the legal right to work here in the United States.
Okay.
His wife, who you're not naming for her protection of being deported, maybe?
They had 6 children.
Jesus! Oh, no!
Jesus.
No! God. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
so
sounds like a terrible band, The Autist and the Illegal.
It's a story of an undocumented lady who was living with an autistic man. They had 6 kids. Why? That's the way they all became something I can't think of.
The protected parking family.
The minibus, the minibus, they were crammed into a minibus. Okay.
Between the ages of 6 and 6 months.
6
busy.
and 6. Wow, she's a factory.
When the rent went up on their apartment last summer,
So wait, 6 and 6 months. I mean, maybe a couple of them were twins or something. 6 and
So
6
8
months.
people living in an apartment?
Oh,
Yow.
he could not make ends meet between his and his son's disability.
wait, his son's disability? Which of the 6? What wait, did I? Sorry, I'm backing up. I must have missed something. Let's try that again.
In their apartment last summer, he could not make ends meet between his and his son's disability.
I must have missed the son's disability because the dad is autistic, right?
Yeah, no, she never said it.
Yeah, okay. I didn't miss anything. Okay.
So he moved his family into their van.
Okay, leaving out vital context because I just don't.
Yeah,
understand.
some stuff was missed there.
Amongst other things that she's not said so far, especially plumbing. Like I know it might be a small thing. Maybe it's just expected to be there somewhere, but she never.
No, plumbing's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. Okay.
And ultimately ended up at our safe parking site.
Yes.
So we had to have some hard conversations with Mike.
Yeah. What were you thinking? Oh wait, we can't ask you that because you're on the spectrum. So. Yeah, you and your wife's 6 anchor babies. What?
Because he was right.
He was right.
His income and his wife's inability to work was not going to support housing and the needs of their family here.
Then maybe he shouldn't have had 6 kids. I don't. I feel like someone's been taken advantage of.
Cheaper than kids.
Huh?
Condoms are a lot cheaper than kids.
You would think. Okay. All right. So.
But yes,
Mike,
somebody's definitely being taken advantage of here.
Yeah, it really does feel that way.
But he had mentioned something. He
What?
had family in South Dakota.
And
So we asked if he'd reach out to them to see
Uh-huh.
if he could possibly reunite.
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 Is that like when you've lost your king, like sort of like a Ronin, and you got to reunite, you got to re-samurai?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think so, but maybe.
Okay. All right. Reunite. Oh my God.
The families helped them find a house that they could afford with their disability money.
They had disability money? So what does this have to do? So wait.
It's a lot of vital context that's being left out here.
Well, not only that, but okay, so your big give to them. So they had a van, they squeezed into the van, they came to your parking lot and you said, do you have any family anywhere else that can help out? Well, I got some family in South Dakota. You want to call them? I guess I could. And that was it? That's the big success story you want to give us? Come on.
So we gave the family some gas cards,
Okay, that's nice of
Must
you.
be nice.
loaded up their car with 3 days of food and snacks and toys for the kids,
Uh-huh.
and sent them off to South Dakota.
I had to fill up my truck today just because it
Oh,
was
I'm sorry.
time to get gas.
Yeah.
$80 fucking dollars.
I am it's times like these and last couple of years especially that I'm glad I don't own a car and don't drive anywhere because man, the heck. And Kiefer Dam, was it Gas Buddy? Oh man. Yeah, this show is not brought to you by Gas. Do you know about the wonders of Gas Buddy?
No.
Oh, so for a time at the waning days of Lords of the Night, just out of the blue, so like we had story after story that brought up Gas Buddy, even the stories that it didn't really feel like Gas Buddy would be some kind of the Gas Buddy's just like this. I think it's this app that tells you like what the gas prices are in different places in the country or whatever. But
okay,
yeah, story after story we're reading out of CNN and other places, just out of nowhere, like they'd bring up Gas Buddy, and I'm like, why the hell's what the hell's a Gas Buddy? We kept hearing about this, and it just kept happening over and over. Eventually, Gas Buddy became like the unofficial sponsor, sort of the Lords of the Night, because it was we just kept advertising for them unwillingly out of these stories we kept reading. Well, I haven't heard about Gas Buddy in a long time. Thank you, Kiefer Dam, for that flashback. I might be on the same LSD that our speaker is. I don't know. Okay. Where were we again? Gave him some gas cards and sent him off to South Dakota from San Diego to South Dakota.
That sounds like a hell of a hike.
That's safe parking for you.
Car with 3 days of food and snacks and toys for the kids, and sent them off to South Dakota.
Uh-huh.
A few months ago, he reached out to us to let us know that they made it
Well, I'm glad.
and that they were happy.
I'm glad.
That the kids were enrolled in school, and it was the best decision that he had ever made.
So your first and prominent success story is sending somebody out of San Diego to family they already had. I nothing about that story save for just the incredible nature of the makeup of the family, which is just all sorts of red flags all over the place. Okay, I don't think that's a story that's impossible to have happened. That doesn't sound like it's out of the realm of possibility. But all the same, that's your success story for a San Diego safe parking program, is that you asked him if he had any other family. So your services to try to find them permanent housing, deposit assistance, all this other stuff, none of it had to do with anything. You gave them some gas. Okay, nice gesture of you. I'm not going to deny that. Toys for the kids, food, great. But all of that had nothing to do with anything you mentioned about the rest of the program earlier. So what exactly is the purpose of this program in San Diego, and how have you succeeded in San Diego? If it's to reduce homelessness in San Diego, which it probably doesn't, but I'd want to hear, what is the rate of success for these programs, these parking lots, to move people out of homelessness into permanent housing as a result of your services provided?
You're hearing the one success story.
I guess, because she's been doing this since, what, 2010 or 2012 or something? So, okay. Yeah, okay. It's a one-off.
So I asked you, what would you do if you
For a Klondike bar? Oh.
suddenly lost your job and then your home?
Yeah.
If I suddenly lost my job and my home, well, yeah, I think the first thing I would do would be to turn to my family. I'll give you that. I couldn't live in my car. I don't have a car.
Well, they did give you a car.
Would they give me a car? Would San Diego give me a car?
Ask nicely.
I guess. Okay.
Would you stay in a shelter,
If I had to.
or would you rather live in your car?
Probably the shelter.
Thank you.
What?
That's it.
What?
Like I said, it's a short one.
But she didn't answer anything.
Well, I know. Well, welcome to TEDx. What do you want from me? Jesus. This is what happens with TEDx. Oftentimes they don't answer anything. They describe a problem and don't actually give you a solution to anything. So
I have more questions now than when we started.
I know.
I know that's how it goes, but I really feel like she leaves out vital context. Absolutely.
Yes.
There's so much stuff left out.
All right, let's go over the card one time, guys. I don't know, Sinatra. Do you want to do another one? Do you want to hang out for a little while, or?
I could do another, sure.
Okay, well, let's get through this one first, then we'll see what we're doing. Okay, first, diversity, equity, inclusion. She never brought up the terms, never brought up the concept. I don't think it applies. Word salad. I'm a little hesitant to circle word salad just on the basis of what could be a a speech disorder. So I'm not a speech impediment. I'm not quite sure on that. I understood what she was saying throughout, even if she left things out. So I'm open to arguments. I'm open to arguments. Mind reading assumes motives. She didn't really do any of that. She was just kind of like relaying information to us. If somebody says something like, I know what you're thinking, or, comes to a conclusion based on what they
not quite that one.
Marginalization. I think that's kind of implied with the homelessness statistics and everything. I think that's reasonable. Patriarchy, no. Contradicts own point or argument. She didn't really
make an argument.
She'd actually make an argument. She didn't say or prove to us that this program accomplishes anything except put people into a different circumstance of homelessness. So
be homeless level 1.
I guess. Yeah. Green level homelessness. Feminism. No. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. Not that I heard. Usually it's predicated by something like something I like to call or whatever. Or they put up one of those catchy acronyms for something that spells out.
Something I like to call
Spatch. This is going to be the Spatch stream. Systemic or institutional?
Implied, I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised she didn't bring up other systems or programs that were already in place, except I guess homeless shelter. I don't know. We'll wait. Maybe somebody in the audience has something. Anecdote that probably never happened. The two that she gave, the Mary one at the top, and then 6 kids and in an RV. Nothing sounds
sitcom setup.
It really does. It really does. Like, we had to move from San Diego all the way out to North Dakota and have culture shock or something. Bring their California values.
Hillbillies.
Yeah. White supremacy. No, she never mentioned race. Childhood family anecdote. She never talked about herself. Argumentative non sequitur. The entire talk was an argumentative non sequitur because it didn't lead to anything. There wasn't an argument there like our program moved more people out of homelessness than the 4 homeless shelters within the area combined or something. That would have been an argument towards the success and utility of what she was proposing, but she didn't even give us that. So I'm not quite sure. And even her preeminent story wasn't actually a result of anything that she mentioned previous. So, yeah.
Yeah. She didn't make an argument for it to, yeah.
Privilege. I feel I should circle it just on the basis of that first story with Mary going like, we're not that kind of homeless. But I don't know. Maybe that's me being too snarky.
No, I'm with you.
You think so? All right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sparse forest right now, so why not? Let's see. Collectivize his own demographic. Again, she never really referred to herself, except to say that she was. I don't even know that she ever mentioned who she was working for at the beginning with the first story. I don't even know what her affiliation is. Just that we created this, and who's we? Self-vilification or wretchedness. Again, she never really made herself part of the argument. Economic disparity. Certainly, there was. It's baked into the whole subject matter of have and have-nots. Benevolent condescension.
I don't think so.
Plays victim. Again, she wasn't talking about herself. Weightless example. Yeah, the entire her prime example was a weightless example.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole nothing to do with it. Didn't even mention like what their experience was in the parking lot, right? Or what the parking lot offered them that a homeless shelter would not have, or something. It was just like, you should call your family. Here's some gas. Goodbye. Like, okay, that could have happened without the parking lot. Microaggressions are unconscious bias. Not really. I mean, she didn't really talk about like the stigma of homelessness or, a story of somebody who tried to go to a homeless shelter and was turned away. We had people like going to homeless shelters and saying, I don't want to go there. So no. Okay. Well, it was a short talk. So that's what we have so far. If anybody has the arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. Be sure to tag me in your comment in case it makes me see it better. Eric Grinstetter, does childhood or family anecdote have to be the presenter's own history? Yes, it has to be a story about their childhood or their family that they're using as part of their presentation or argument. So it has to be them. It can't be somebody else's. It has to be them. It has to be a tool that they are using to get make a connection with the audience. That's the one little caveat to the whole thing. Advocates Diablo, Scribelite privilege. Her entire program is for people who have the privilege of even owning a car. That is true. I already circled privilege, but that's also a very good point. Yeah, because if you don't have a car, you're already out of the running. Advocates again, Scribelite. Her entire premise is based on shelters are dangerous and you are better off in your car. She's definitely making assumptions about the shelters and the people in them. Or are you talking about microaggressions or unconscious bias? Is that what you're arguing for? Just to make sure, because I could assume that it could also be mind reading or assumes motives, I guess. Let's see. You're ridiculous lunatic. Weightless example, propaganda. Well, yeah, the weightless example was the missing family or whatever. Talk. Yeah. Nobody, I am an hour late. Well, don't worry. There might be more here just a minute because we, Advocata says, Scribelite buzzword, municipality. Or yeah. I mean, spots. You know what? Given the circumstances, I think Spatz is at least new buzzword buzz phrase. I don't think that's all things considered. I think that's fair. And if you can believe it, as a consequence of that,
bingo. What? Bingo! Yeah! Of course.
We have our first bingo down the diagonal. There you go. Kind of a surprise bingo. Supplies. Let's see. Anybody else? Yeah, this was a pretty sparse one, guys. I knew it being at only like 8 minutes long. There might not be enough there, but you never know. We've had TEDx's that have been that long that have been jam-packed full of stuff, so you never really know. But let's reset the bingo card. Here, I'll save this one off as a separate item, just to make sure that I don't lose it for posting it on the Discord later. And let's back up and let's start a second one. Now, this one is 10 minutes long, so we'll get at least another hour out of this, maybe 45 minutes. All right. And it's a completely different subject, if you can believe it. And in fact, this is the weird thing. It actually stars a speaker that has appeared on a previous TEDx of mine, but it's a completely different presentation. As far as I know, it's a completely different presentation. This speaker in her previous presentation on my channel, which was one of my older scripted videos, you have to look it up. She was arguing against politeness. She was telling us about the dangers of politeness because politeness was racist, sexist, etc.
Okay, that makes
condescending. Condescending. Now, this is I know this is a different presentation because her hair is a different color now. So I know that time has passed, and it's also been posted relatively recently. So let me switch over to that. If you'll just allow me a moment here to copy over. I know, I'm terrible. Okay, so this is D.L. Stewart. And again, for those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, maybe you'll recognize the name and or the face. I don't know if there's actually a video to this. This might just be audio. But if it is just audio, we'll just deal with it as we go. We're going to start the bingo card over again, everybody. So reset your bingo cards if you haven't already.
Are we staying with C?
Let me get this prepared here. All right. So this one, Black Trans Lives Matter.
It doesn't quite have the ring to it.
Yeah, BTLM sounds like a kind of sandwich or something. So let's start off with this. Yeah, we're still on bingo card C. We're just going to do C2 all over again. And let's see what we get with Black Trans Lives Matter.
A quick new idea daily from the world's greatest TED
No, I don't want to hear your quick.
scholar and activist vignette. D.L. Stewart is a Black trans scholar and activist.
I can believe it. Actually, I already know it because I listened to her before.
In a powerful and poetic series of personal vignettes,
Uh-oh. Is this slam poetry?
Vignettes.
It's a vignette?
D.L. shares the stark reality of living in a society where your body has been made to feel unworthy.
That sounds like a you problem. That sounds like a pain self-chosen more than anything else.
My name is D.L. Stewart,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a faculty member here on campus at Colorado State University.
Uh-oh. Uneducated. I don't know if she was a faculty member at the time that I listened to her first talk. Maybe it has been a few years.
But what's most important for you to understand about me right now
Uh-huh.
is that I identify as both Black
Uh-huh.
and as transgender. Or
Okay.
Ass trans.
As trans. That's the most important thing for me to know about you. None of that tells me anything about you. That's one of the big things that annoys me about identity politics is that you can take all of someone's identities and put them up on a wall, and it tells me absolutely nothing about them. If I put up there straight white male beard carpenter, okay, am I talking about Jesus Christ or am I talking about serial killer Israel Keys?
You're talking about me.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about. Do you have a basement by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, well, C. Thomas, thank you so much. I'll order a BTLM with an order of French fries. Yeah, or French fries.
French fries.
See, I
like my Frenchman.
See, Thomas, I'd offer you a seat at the table, but we're out of spots. All right.
or trans. And yes, I'm going to talk to you today about how Black trans lives matter.
Okay.
As I do so, I'm going to share a few scenes from my own life, mixed in with the ways that race and gender have historically and currently intersected to shape the lives of Black trans people.
Okay, going to the card. I'm going to already circle plays victim. I think that's probably a given.
You could have done that from the intro.
Yeah, so I'm going to circle that one and free space. So there we go. And a list as well, because that was she was listing off how we should identify her. So let's keep going.
To say that Black trans lives matter is a claim to sovereignty.
What?
As much as Black
From
Girl
who?
Magic.
Yeah, who are you sovereign from? Like I guess it would be non-Black, non-trans people. Because you literally aren't them, so you are, I don't know.
I don't get what she's going for.
As much as Black Girl Magic and trans is brilliant,
What?
Black trans lives matter is also a chorus of resistance.
Okay, attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. I know.
Black Girl Magic? Yeah.
Well, Black Girl Magic and Black Trans Lives Matter, because we had to add trans in there, because BLM wasn't enough.
Because Black trans lives begin by defining our bodies as sovereign countries.
What?
Okay, that sounds like some sovereign citizen stuff. Yeah. Did you also use do you use the Black's Law Dictionary when you make your declarations of sovereignty? Any of you sovereign citizen wonks out there will know what I'm talking about.
From which we first begin to resist the messages that we have no place here.
Okay, in present day left-wing society, who is telling you have no place, quote unquote, here? Or are you talking, I'm assuming we're talking about like in Florida with the quote unquote don't say gay bill. Is that's usually what is leaned on when things like this are said?
That's what it sounds like.
We push whole movements forward on the strength of our vision.
What is your vision?
What is your strength?
Yeah, just being Black and trans doesn't say anything about your character.
We set trends and create new worlds.
On TikTok.
We are the vanguard.
Of
Black
what?
trans lives have always mattered.
Okay, human lives matter. I hate to go back to the old all lives matter kind of thing, but I mean, unless you're like, Charles Manson or something, then your life probably doesn't really matter as much. But again, that's a factor of character and not just surface level aesthetics.
And yet, caught at the time traveling intersection
Yep.
of Juneteenth's Emancipation Celebration and Stonewall's Emancipation Declaration, Black
That is some
trans
word
lives
salad.
are both seen but yet unseen.
Yeah, that's word salad city. So circling word salad. Okay.
Unseen by the anti-Blackness of queer and trans movements.
The anti-Blackness of queer and trans movements. Okay, so queer and trans movements are inherently racist, I guess.
Apparently.
Okay.
Unseen by the transphobia and trans antagonism of Black movements.
Well, you just don't have any safe harbor, I guess, huh? Okay.
Our sovereignty and resistance are blocked by layers of systems and structures that have always sought to contain, define, and erase Black trans bodies.
Well, first off, systemic or institutional, since she's talking about systems, and also collectivize his own demographic, circling that one. Okay, so simply by existing, you are in a victim status. I guess that would also make her marginalization since she's
of course.
Outcast from all these other movements and things. Gosh, we're just having a bonanza here today. All right, so if I accept the premise that simply on the basis of what you are and how you feel about yourself, you're an inherent victim. What is it that you are proposing be done to change this? What is the solution if you have one?
I am with my therapist.
I can imagine.
The one whose testimony I must rely on to declare me man enough to have my documents changed.
Okay. And what is that going to do for you?
The one who is to be believed.
Well, if you say that you're a man when you demonstrably are not, the question is, what is your mental frame of mind? Yes?
My bad. I thought it was male to female, not female to male.
Oh, no, DL Stewart is female. I mean, as much as she might not want to believe it, but,
Despite my own declarations that I am not this body, that this body is neither hers nor yours to define, I sit with this doctor, and she fills out a form for me. And when considering what all I've done to affirm my gender.
Because
yeah, but that doesn't mean anybody else has to.
Yeah, that's the other part too.
Has the patient's gender presentation aligned with their gender identity?
I mean, it's that is the thing. You heard about the Planet Fitness thing recently?
Tangentially, yeah.
Yeah, so just a guy who has done absolutely nothing, as if he should have let men into female locker rooms in the first place. But even if you're going to set that aside, a man has done absolutely nothing, physically or otherwise, to align with his declared gender in a female locker room. There's got to be some evidence that you've done something. Otherwise, it's you could honestly just be delusional, right? Or you could be lying for the sake of some other reason. It's such an insane place we're at right now in society that this is a conversation we're having to have all the time. But anyway,
she decides that my gender presentation is more neutral, really.
And generally speaking, I'd say that's probably accurate. From the picture we have in front of us, you have a short, let's say, male-ish haircut. You're wearing clothes that attempt to conceal your feminine curves. But otherwise, I don't know. Have you done anything else? Have you gone
Probably
through any
not.
other? Yeah, and not to say that, oh, well, now you have to have bits of yourself cut up or anything or whatever. I still think that's just kind of ghoulish overall, but
While I sit there, mind you, head to toe in clothing from the section of the store where the dress buttons go down the right side, and my pants give away the number of inches around my waist, and my hair is cut like Denzel's Man on Fire, but I'm still more neutral. Really?
yeah, because you're so obviously female. And it just, I don't know what to tell you. It's nature.
Because she still sees, and you see, a Black woman.
Yes. And
Black women's bodies are always already made genderless.
horse hockey, because it's a Black woman. Am I missing something? I might be missing a Sinatra. Uh-oh, maybe he had to step away. Maybe I should wait a minute.
Sorry, I was talking but muted.
Oh,
I'm doing my best to follow along, but I still don't know what point is trying to be made here.
I think the point is that our speaker has decided to take the TEDx stage to do a personal grievance parade while cloaking it in her representing an entire demographic, which is not uncommon for TEDx's, although it's usually not
You're talking
quite
to your therapist.
Yeah, this is not quite this blatant usually. Usually someone will make a presentation where if you replace every instance of we with I, it all starts making sense, right? If somebody's talking about as a demographic or as a personal experience and spreading it out and saying this applies to everybody. We've seen this before with like men getting up on the stage and talking about toxic masculinity and how we as men need to do this or we as men that, when in fact they're just saying is I did this or I need to do that or I've had to feel this way. But in this case, our speaker has had a personal experience of trying to convince her therapist that she's actually male enough to qualify for document change, and even the therapist not being convinced. And somehow this is now reflective of a problem that all, I guess, Black trans people have.
Yeah, this just sounds like one person dumping their trauma on everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, and again, usually the TEDx red circle carpet is just someone's inner monologue talking anyway.
End scene.
End scene? What? Are you taking this seriously? Because it doesn't sound like it. Okay.
Black bodies
Not at
and
all.
our genders have been caught in the white imagination.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to circle white supremacy. I think that's probably
Good call.
given on here. So circling that one.
And the imagination of whiteness is fanciful
Mm,
and powerful enough to turn its fancies into realities.
okay.
Imagined as a thing, we were made to become that thing. And so
What?
we have been bred like horses, fed like
What?
turtles to alligators.
Wait. Okay. If she's going to hearken all the way back to slavery times and trying to put herself in that same, I assume that's what we're talking about here. That's always an easy escape hatch. It's like, oh yes, 400 years of this, that, or the other, right?
The imagination of whiteness is fanciful and powerful enough to turn its fancies into realities. Imagined as a thing, we were made to become that thing.
Imagined as a thing, we were made to become that thing. You're a professor
Dude,
or
I have
something at a college.
never been so lost
Yeah,
as I am right now.
She's all over the place.
And so we have been bred like horses,
Black trans people have been bred like horses,
fed like turtles
for the
to
good
alligators.
fed like turtles to alligators.
Who's feeding alligators turtles?
Yeah, is that a thing?
Branded like cattle, milked like sows.
What?
Is
What?
What?
You gotta be fucking kidding.
right?
Okay. That's just no. I don't even know where we are. No. But okay, okay, so we've gone from turtles and therapists and alligators.
Made into oxen to plow.
What?
Gender did not matter so long as our body parts, our arms and legs and backs, our breasts and genitalia could be turned into profit.
Oops.
Wait. So what are you saying? There was more equality when black people were slaves than when now you're what? So you want to harken back to a time when gender didn't matter, when things were terrible? What?
Slave times are so much better.
Oh yeah, I mean compared to now.
We had
The black body
Yeah, we had so many extra spots.
was made not white,
Sorry, the what was what now? Sorry.
could be turned into profit.
Yeah.
The black body was made not white.
It was made not what?
The black
and therefore
body.
not worthy of gender.
The black body was
What?
made not white and therefore not worthy of gender. So again, your opening salvo was you had to fight and scratch
I'll be
and
right
scrape
back,
to
one
try to
second.
convince somebody that your chosen gender is your gender. And now you're describing a time where gender was irrelevant. So, and I'll wait for Sinatra to get back. But so I'm asking, are you wishing you were back in a time where gender didn't matter, or is it like I don't even know. I don't even know. But as we wait for Sinatra to get back, let's look at the chat real quick. Smudge, blaming the entire white race for American slavery is racism against white people meant to demonize us. Well, at least people in current times, associated guilt, generational collectivized guilt or something, or collectivized vilification just doesn't make any sense. I mean, by that same logic, anyone who is black is obviously guilty of the same kind of slavery that took place on the African continent. So might as well go that way too. Mark Smart, last time I checked, humans were black. B for some became white. Maybe I'm missing that. I'm stumbling over that one. Let's see. Assassin the Gray, woe is me. I hate who white devil, and he had the nerve to take offense at my self-righteous indignation. Capital P black lesbian. Oh, no, not necessarily lesbian, just trans. I don't know. But okay. And so gender didn't matter in slave times.
And under the weight of the genteel tulle and virginal lace that dressed plantation mistresses,
what?
black femininity has always been denied.
What? I mean, admittedly, I've never lived on a 1800s plantation, so I don't know.
Why are we asking you then, scribe?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not the audience for this. I have a feeling.
Instead, she is either beast or porn star,
What?
neither a proper gender, dehumanized.
Beast or porn star? That's the only two options? Okay. Again, this is saying more about our speaker's perspective on the world than I think anybody else's. So
Yeah.
I wonder what if she encounters another black woman, which she is not now. Remember, guys, she's not a black woman anymore. She's a black man because she's trans. How does she see that woman? Like an actual like feminine black woman showing off her femininity.
A sister.
Or she's hates them because of what they're doing, or like they're not going along to get along or something. I don't know. Or I'm not quite sure. But here's the thing. You're denying your own femininity. Like you're actively wanting to escape your own femininity. So aren't you contributing to the very thing you're complaining about was happening back then?
I think so.
I don't know.
Made a social threat that endangers civility,
What?
that puts civilization in danger. The angry black woman cannot be escaped.
Okay.
But I keep
Not-
hearing about how it's a terrible stereotype.
Yeah.
even by a first lady of these United States.
Oh, we're talking about Michelle Obama?
Another trans.
Oh, now, Sinatra. Stop. Oh my gosh.
Likewise, ill-suited for chivalry and outmatched
Ill-suited for
as
chivalry.
masters and captains of fate,
What?
Black manhood lays flaccid in the hands of white men's dominance.
What?
Gay.
Oh my God.
Body measurements taken, speed measured, draft pick forecasted.
She's talking about the fucking the sports drafts.
But the sports drafts are just like the slave markets, you see,
Yep.
because the slave markets gave you the opportunity to get a multi-million-dollar contract and brand deals. These things are exactly the same. And of course, the slave markets were completely voluntary and something that you train to earn a place in through high school athletics. As we know. Right? Good gravy.
This is delusional.
This is the NFL Combine.
The NFL Combine. The NFL Combine, yeah. Boy, all those guys.
Nobody's successful on the way out of that.
No, yeah, the NFL Combine, because everybody's just like press ganged into the NFL draft without their consent these days. Just. Hi.
Body measurements taken,
Yes.
teeth and body cavities inspected.
What? What? Wait. I admittedly, I'm not a sports guy. I haven't watched the actual NFL draft ever, really. But I just want to know, like, how much time do they dedicate out of the day for the public teeth inspection of potential football
That's a
draftees?
good question.
I mean, do they all have the same dentist to make sure that there's no like favoritism given or something? Do they have a third party do it? Like, do they take molds for examination outside, before they decide who they're going to draft pick? And also the body cavity searches. Who conducts that? Do they just like get some TSA guys down there because they're used to it?
I'm hardcore leaning to anecdote that never happened.
Yeah. In fact, I think I will. Anecdote that probably never happened. Yeah, at the NFL draft, the teeth inspection. Let's bring back the good old days, guys, at the NFL draft. What?
Number assigned.
Yes, that's on their jerseys.
This is the prison intake room.
The prison intake. Okay. So
Presidente?
Prison intake. Prison intake room. So she's associating slave markets, the NFL draft, and prison as all being conjoined as the same process. So in one instance, against your will and consent, you are pressed into service. In the second instance, through your own desires, efforts, and athleticism, you sign up to become a paid employee and athlete. And in the third instance, you're being punished for a crime you've committed. And all of these things obviously are the same thing for Black men, as we know. Yeah, I think I'm going to have.
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
I think that's unavoidable. That's just. We might have more as we go. We still got 4 minutes left on this thing.
Body measurements taken. Talents and abilities advertised.
What?
Teeth and body cavities inspected. Name and value assigned.
Okay, this is the worst kind of poetry. What are we talking about now? Are we transitioning, no pun intended, off to something else now, away from prisons to what? The military, maybe. You want to do the military?
This is a slave's bill of sale.
The what now?
The bill of sale?
Yeah, I missed that part. Let's back up a little bit.
Name and value assigned.
Yes.
This is a slave's bill of sale.
Okay, so yes, all right. So we have actual slave markets, we've got the NFL, and we have prison, and these are all okay. Maybe she's friends with Colin Kaepernick, and that's why the NFL was brought in.
Dude,
Right.
I am so lost.
Made either stud or farce, he is not for his own pleasure, but rather for profit and jest.
Who's profit in the NFL?
What?
But jest? Okay. Yeah, because slavery's a laugh a minute, as we know. NFL, it all depends on the player. Prison, boy, oh boy. Man, I tell you.
Slaves just guffawed the whole time.
Oh yeah, and it's really fun to think about in the aftermath as well. Boy, there's so much comedy there. Okay, lady, where are we going with this? What is your point? So
She seems like a real peach.
she's equating herself because her therapist won't acknowledge that she's a man, which she's not, as being equal to a slave. Plays victim was a good one.
Athletes
Yes.
and comics contained,
What?
made not a threat.
What?
We have always been fugitives here.
How are you employed? How are you on that TEDx stage? Why are you not under arrest or something? Or I don't know, given a spot on the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, they're the same thing, right?
Escaping from gender surveillance to claim our sovereignty and right to exist and to live free, to proclaim as beautiful that which was made ugly, to defy convention, Black lives and trans lives and Black trans lives.
That's some intersectionality there. So thank you, Kimberly
If I've
Crenshaw.
ever heard it.
Yeah, because Black lives and trans lives and Black trans lives, these are three different categories of being. Okay.
And yet in this world, that fact that Black trans lives make a difference.
How? No. Here's a question I have. Who makes a difference? Not what. Okay. Again, being Black and being trans tells me absolutely nothing about you. You could be a Black trans saint. You could be a Black trans serial killer. It says nothing. How about a name? How about a list of personal accomplishments or even personal failures that have defined you as a person, not as a pair of words? Because all you're doing is dehumanizing yourself by taking away any identifiable information about you. That's a you problem. That is a pain self-inflicted. And what am I supposed to do about it? Okay, what does this complaint have to do with the audience? What are we supposed to do to make you feel better about you? That isn't going to ask us to rearrange reality around your personal perceptions of yourself issues.
That's what most of this seems like, honestly. They don't want to accept themselves, so they want to change everything around them.
Make differences and make a matter of mattering is doused by the fire hoses of past and current denials of our rights
Make
to
a matter
exist
of
and
mattering.
resist.
Okay, I'm having flashbacks to the worst submissions in my English creative writing classes. I took a poetry class. And man, so I am not going to say that anything that I had to write or ended up writing for my poetry class was some kind of top of the pops or something, by no means. But I tell you what, this is some first year college, last year high school beat poetry nonsense.
Was it better than make a matter of mattering?
Maybe just slightly. I mean, I think I might have blocked it out because it was so traumatic. But this is up there though.
We must fight to be seen.
You're on look. This is your second, at least your second TEDx outing. I knew you the moment I saw your picture. Before I even saw your name, I was like, "Hey, I've seen her on TEDx before. She did a thing where people being polite towards her was demeaning, and subversively racist and sexist or something. I remember you. You have been seen. I remember you. You are memorable to me as a person, as an individual. I don't know if that counts for anything, but I'll tell you, I knew you when I saw you. Probably not.
As we see through fences into the play yards we are kept out of.
Where?
Yeah, in the modern day, where?
I am with my therapist.
Oh, we're back with your therapist again. Okay, yes,
Who can see me and my Black trans kin in the skin we are in?
Well, wait. Your Black trans kin.
And the skin we're in.
I already circled collectivize his own demographic. Okay.
I am with my therapist.
Uh-huh.
Who can see me and my Black trans kin in the skin we are in?
No, your therapist is looking at you, not a collective, not a demographic. You. She is evaluating you.
Who dares to love us? Who holds us close? To whom do we matter other than to ourselves?
Well, you should matter to yourself first and foremost, because I'll tell you what, I know this is a harsh reality for some people, but at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, unless you are a very lucky person, and there are a lot of lucky people in the world, at the end of the day, you only have yourself to rely on in the absence of any other resource. So you'd better find a way to get to terms with yourself, or else you're never going to be happy, even if you have other people around you.
Unless
not
you
an easy thing.
Park safely with the first lady.
Well, I mean, if you pump out 6 kids with somebody that shouldn't be in the country, then maybe you'll never be alone. But it's 6 of one thing, half a dozen of the other. What do you want? Literally.
We're not looking for saviors.
You're not looking for saviors. You're slavers. We're not looking for slavers. It's shbach and slavers. You're looking for a savior in your therapist to affirm your version of reality.
Literally.
We have each other.
Do you?
As Little Watson said, if you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because you recognize your liberation is bound up in mine, then let us work together.
Who's Little Watson? Is that like young Sherlock Holmes' partner?
I think it's her therapist.
It could be.
Let us work together to make Black trans lives matter.
Stop dehumanizing people. Oh, God, this is so frustrating.
The lived experience of Black trans people out in the world. And if you believe that your liberation is bound up with mine,
I decidedly do not, because that's your
lived
problem,
experience ranks up there with my truth on just meaningless buzzwords.
Yeah, because like I say, again, lived experience, so every Black trans person has the same common experience just because of those 2 words. You put 2 people like that in the same room and somehow they're just, you can't tell them apart. Same lives, same experiences, same conclusions, same beliefs. Stop the collectivization. Talk about, just be honest. This is the thing that always gets me about these TEDx talks. Stop grouping yourself in with a whole bunch of people you do not know and do not speak for. Talk about yourself. If you just talked about yourself directly, instead of categorizing yourself, I'd at least have more respect for whatever you have to say. Because then I could say, okay, this person is trying to figure out themselves. They're confused about themselves. They're looking for a helping hand to deal with themselves, and not say, oh, I am a representative of all these other people because we're all on the same team, guys. It's not just me. When you're insulting me, you're insulting all these other people. It's
no,
a sense
just
of
you.
Yeah, I guess so.
then I invite you to make Black trans lives matter your personal ethic by being transformative, loudly and mindfully.
No. What I did was I made D.L. Stewart's voice matter by bringing you on my channel twice, recognizing you the second time, and bringing you on, giving you a platform you didn't otherwise have, because you are you, because I found you to be an interesting character the first time because of who you are and how you perceive the world, not because you're Black and trans. If in fact, if I didn't have a picture of you and just heard what you had to say the first time, I'd still find you interesting. I wouldn't agree with you, but I'd find you interesting.
You can do that in 3 ways.
Oh, a list. I already circled the list. Never mind. Oh, well, same difference.
Transform your thinking about Blackness and gender.
I don't want to. I think I'm fine with just observable reality. Thanks.
Be
Yeah.
loud by taking the risk to confront false assumptions and others' fears and biases.
A false assumption? You mean like you saying you are a man? I don't know if you want me to do that. That might go counter to your desires.
Be mindful and pay attention and believe what Black trans people say about our own lives.
I might, if what you have to say is believable, person to person.
Being transformative loudly and mindfully takes practice,
Uh-huh.
just like getting someone's pronouns right.
Oh Lord.
Mine are they, them, their, and he, him, his, by the way.
No, they're not. I've referred to you as she this entire time because you're a female. Sorry. I know. Somewhere, somehow, an angel's wings are falling off because I've said that.
Way. And getting someone's pronouns right and being transformative loudly and mindfully matters.
Well, I guess it depends on the laws of the country you're living in, because as we've seen in the UK and Canada, it can matter. You say the wrong thing, you upset the wrong person, boy howdy, you're in trouble.
Because Black trans lives matter.
Uh-huh.
My life matters.
Mm-hmm.
My body is a sovereign country.
Okay, you lost me on that part. Do you have your own taxation? I mean, do we have to, are you then invading another country simply wherever you go? Your sovereign country.
And my first sight of resistance.
Okay, that's that. Okay. Well, we went from bizarre argument to absolutely incoherent presentation. I don't know. We had a full spectrum TED excellence experience tonight. We had a shaky
Indeed.
argument in one thing and utter absolute gobbledygook nonsense in the other. And we had 2 bingo cards along the way. So let's do this one more time. Let me update this one here. 1 second, pardon me. Save that, refresh that. Oh, wait, that's right. I changed the name of it. Hold on. There we go. Okay, well, I'm going to shrink this one down. Okay, so that's the card as we have it right now. Let's go over it one more time, then we'll go back to the audience. Diversity, equity, and or inclusion. She didn't say any of that.
I think she said inclusion.
Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Chat, can you verify? I don't want to have to re-listen to this thing again. Mind reading assumes motives. Yes, because she's speaking for everybody else in her own quote-unquote demographic as to what they think, how they feel, and so on. Patriarchy, no. Contradicts own point or argument. What was the argument? Black trans lives matter?
Did not contradict it.
I guess not. Feminism.
She derided it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she derided femininity. I don't know if she derided feminism though. Childhood or family anecdote? Surprisingly, no. She didn't talk about growing up. She didn't talk about her family. Leaves out vital context. Boy, howdy. What are we here for? What exactly is this about? Also, that whole slavery NFL nonsense. Argumentative non sequitur, the slavery NFL thing. That didn't mean anything and lead nowhere and had nothing to do with her because she's not a black male as much as she wants apparently to be. Sales pitch for product or service? No. Privilege? Yes. I think that's inherent when we start talking about slavery and prison and especially talking about like who was allowed in the movements and things like that. So I think I'll circle that one. Are we already at a bingo? No, we're not. Not yet. No. Self-vilification or wretchedness. That's... I mean, she didn't use that in the course of the presentation. I can only guess at what's going on in her own mind because I have a feeling there's a lot of self-loathing or self-image issues going on there. But as far as a feature or an element of the presentation, she didn't denigrate herself as an example of something or as a confession. So I don't think it applies. Economic disparity. Well, she
Yeah,
talked about
she kind of-
bodies turned to profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also she also like, I mean, just by implication, she ranged from slavery to NFL draft picks, which was something. Benevolent condescension. Well, in the sense that all Black trans people are inherently victims or being abused, and all Black people are now like food for alligators or something. Or is that too much of a stretch?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll maybe somebody in the chat can help me on that one. Weightless example. Yes, I hate to double dip, but it was so primary to her thing. The therapist first the therapist having to verify her presented gender for the sake of paperwork. Like, what did that have to do with anything else in the rest of the presentation? Except that she was trying to connect her therapist's uncertainty to a history of abuse of Black people. Yeah, it didn't have nothing to do with nothing as far as I'm concerned. And lastly, microaggressions or unconscious bias. I think that's also implied because Black trans people their lives matter and they're not being accepted into certain movements and so on. And
Yeah.
they exist separately from the other demographics. So we're really close, but I'll take arguments for any other squares to be circled, guys. Let me get down to the chat jumped on me here. All right. Advocate, scribe like contradicted point, going on and on about the Black woman body, all the while insisting she is a man. That's true. That's true. You're wanting to get away from femininity yourself, and yet you're complaining about how Black women aren't feminine or seen as feminine, or their gender doesn't matter or something. Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Anybody else? Let's see. Advocates again. I am a product. I am a symbol of endless, hopeless, fruitless, aimless games. Yeah. Is that an actual song lyric? Let's see. Assassin of the Gray. She must be confusing me with someone who gave a shite. Yeah. There's that too. I'm not sure what that was all about. Any other arguments for squares to be circled, guys? I think, let's see, SWD40. Isn't patriarchy a branch of white supremacy or whatever? Well, in some instances, yes, but in the case of TEDx, it has to be something where the argument includes something about men making all the decisions, or this, career path was dominated by men, or something like. There has to be a specific.
It's some nonsense in there.
Yeah, there has to be something specific about men being in control of stuff. And
yeah,
she didn't really go down that path, really. She talked about the victimization of Black men, even if it's just being drafted in the NFL and having their teeth inspected. But she never talked about like men being in control. So let's see. Jose Chacon, DEI, understand Black trans voice and life. You know what? With the whole this is how I identify and lived experience and so on and so forth. I think it's fair that given the rhetoric she was using, that is all part and parcel with DEI. I'm fine circling that one.
Yeah.
And as a consequence of that, if you can believe it, we have a double bingo.
I had a dog, and his name was...
What?
I had a dog, and his name was...
Bingo!
Of course!
Bingo.
What?
Of course!
Double bingo, of course. All right, double bingo. So we got one bingo on the previous, two bingos on this one. Any other last minute arguments for squares to be circled, guys? Because we're going to wrap up here pretty quick. We've gone I'm actually kind of surprised. Usually I go about an hour and a half on these. We're just a smidge over. And we did 2 TEDx's. That's amazing. Mystery Scribble, I can foresee in a future TEDx where patriarchy is going to be inexplicably linked to the Hugh White Supreme pizzas, just based off the narrative of this, that. And well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen things like that before, where like, men in control is this, that, or the other. But again, for the sake of the TEDx talk, it has to be something very identifiable. So, Advocates Diablo Scribble, she certainly was condescending. Yeah, but was she being benevolently condescending? That's the thing. It has to be something like where someone is is expressing some form of pity on somebody or to the audience or to a group or something. And I don't know that I got that. I got the victimization. I don't know that there was any benevolent condescension. Like benevolent, no, just condescending for the sake of being condescending doesn't quite qualify. It has to be somebody that, feels like they're doing something generous for somebody or somebody else by what they're doing. And she never really talked about like what should be done or how do you
No.
solve this problem. It was all very amorphous, very abstract. Let's see. Mark Smart, feminism because the attack on femininity. But yeah, but feminism isn't, well, I guess it depends on which kind of feminism we're talking about, but she didn't really talk about like empowering women. She talked about like a genderless situation and then sort of like decried the fact that femininity wasn't being respected. Does that qualify as feminism, you think? I mean, it's a little loose. And this is a bingo square, guys. This is the one thing where I have to sort of like say, the bar is a little higher than that. Was feminism a part of the presentation?
A master at cheating at bingo, and I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I don't think it quite made that thing. She seemed to be either jealous of femininity or trying to dismiss its role for the sake of defining herself or something. I don't think it was about feminism so much. Jose Chacon, sales pitch. You must hire more black trans or be labeled as a racist, homophobic, etc. I don't. She was using the umbrella concept of slavery in a bunch of instances. I don't know that was about employment. And she was already talking about being an educator at a college. So it wasn't like she didn't have a job already or had been rejected from somewhere. I mean, if you really want, just as a thing, since this is the second time I've done a video with her as the speaker, if you go back to the other one, and I forget what it was something like, I forget what I called it. It was something like manners or politeness or something. I'm sure somebody in the chat can search through my my library and find a link they can put in the chat or whatever. But it was one of my older scripted videos. And yeah, if you want to hear her be really specific about events and circumstances and stories and anecdotes before the bingo card, definitely check out her first video. If I can find the link to it, I'll put in the description after the fact for those of you watching in the future. And all right, I'll give Mystery one last shot here. Scribelight, she was speaking upon her audience as if they are unwashed and somehow bad for not being like it. This was a spiteful lecture masked in a forked tongue lashing to make them feel bad. Does that resolve to benevolent condescension?
No. She was just an asshole, but not a condescending asshole.
Well, she was condescending, but there's nothing benevolent about it. It was just complaining. So we're on either side of the same problem. It's just I don't think it quite fits. But here's the thing, guys. As I've said before, if you have an argument for a square to be circled after the show has concluded, by all means, leave it in a comment below. There have been bingos that have been acquired after the fact previously, and when that does happen, I will post a revised bingo card to the Discord server for everybody to see. And speaking of the Discord server, as we start to wrap things up, did you know I have a Discord server? If you'd like to join the Discord server, link is in the chat now. The link is good for 1 day. And if you click on that link, you'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you're not a bot and have actually watched the show and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is Spatz. Just say hello, Spatz. And we'll all know you really watched this show.
How are you spelling Spatz?
I'll know it when I see it. It's a feeling. Spatz is a feeling. It's a vibe, Sinatra. You kind of it's an experience or something. But before we start wrapping up, Sinatra, what are you up to? What have you got going on? What's coming up? What would you like to shill, plug, or otherwise? The floor is yours.
Oh boy, doing a lot. I'm working on a project here that we'll be ready to unveil it when we're done with it. Got a lot of work, but that's down the line. I have the AAA meeting tomorrow at 5:30 EST and videos on the Sin and Sash channel. Go ahead and check that out. I've moved Tucker Tuesday over to Twitch because YouTube has taken down every single Tucker thing I've done in the past like 3 weeks.
I've seen that. Yeah, that sucks. And AAA is going to be on Silent
It
Sin.
says, yes, the Silent Sin channel.
Okay, Silent
It just
Sin.
says
Link to that.
policy violation. It's really
yeah, I've gotten zapped before for letting something run too long of copyrighted material, and then they like pause the stream for like a minute and black it out, and then they bring it back as soon as I've stopped streaming whatever it is. But I've had that happen before, but I don't know what else goes on with Tucker and everything. You might have to contact Tucker on Twitter and get his blessing.
It is. It's an election year.
It is an election year. But yeah, everybody, link to the Silent Sin channel where the AAA meeting will be happening tomorrow is in the descriptions. Go check that out and be sure to subscribe
Thank
and
you.
like the stream when you see it and all that good stuff. Also, Sinatra's Twitter, Streamlabs, Twitch, and Sinatra's Speakeasy channels also, and the Sin and Sass channels are also in the description below. But with that, everybody, first off, Sinatra, thank you so much at a short notice request to join me tonight for this little adventure into different subjects.
Thank you. This is good.
Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the GoFundMe's up top or to Sinatra himself, thank you guys so much for your generosity. It is very much appreciated. Programming note, the Sunday stream will be happening on, well, Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where I will talk about a thing. I usually decide on Saturday. This week, it might be immigration, all things considered, or it might be something else. We'll find out on Sunday together. Yeah, so again, Sinatra, thank you for joining me. Everybody, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hope you have a good Friday upcoming and weekend as well. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. You can say bye, too.
Bye.